We return now to Amityville, New York, and our Halloween tale. The Lutzes never set foot back inside the house after what they describe as a terrifying night. They say powerful, dark forces drove them from their home. And that's where Elizabeth Vargas picks up the story.
Soon after they flee the house on Ocean Avenue, George and Kathy Lutz meet with William Weber about writing a book. Weber was the attorney for Ronnie DeFeo, who murdered his entire family in the Amityville house.
They were very reserved about their experiences in the house. In other words, there was no ranting and raving going on.
But Weber says during the long evening, the Lutz's story got more elaborate with every bottle of wine.
I don't remember the number of bottles of wine that we had, but it certainly was more than 4. There was this give and take. And towards the end, we were creating ideas.
What do you mean, creating?
Creating. In other words, if you were talking about the green slime, well, why couldn't it have come from a demonic source?
But did he tell you he was making this up, or did he tell you that we also saw green slime?
He never told me he saw green slime.
So bottom line, do you believe the Lutz's story about what happened in those 28 days?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because I know that they were making a commercial venture of this.
William Weber now says that this meeting wherein you described what happened to you at the house was more like a creative writing session over a few bottles of wine where you all sort of came up with this concocted this great story, this great hoax.
We know what happened to us, and we remember.
The Lutzes rejected a book deal with Weber and instead agreed to write a book with author Jay Anson. The result, The Amityville Horror, a true story. It becomes a phenomenon, more than 6 million copies sold, and spawning the blockbuster movie. But Weber still wanted to write his Amityville book and hired Hans Holzer, professor of paranormal psychology and a self-styled world-famous ghost catcher.
They wanted me to look into what was really going on in that house.
In 1977, Holzer went to Amityville with a medium, someone who claims to be able to talk to the dead.
She went into the house, and the first thing she said, "There's an Indian here." She then, in trance, explained that the Indian chief was on a warpath because this was sacred ground. He was buried there, and anything on this land must be removed, and the people must leave.
Holzer believes Ronnie DeFeo was possessed by the angry Indian spirit. The chief of the Montaukett tribe of Long Island told us there is no record of a burial ground on the land, but Holzer is adamant.
The Indian chief will be there until the house is destroyed, and one fine day it will burn down, and the land will be clean again.
For all the believers, Amityville also attracted legions of professional skeptics. Joe Nickel has made a career of examining haunted houses and said there's never been a documented case, and that includes Amityville. But Nickel has never been inside 112 Ocean Avenue. He has never even met the Lutzes.
Why are you so certain that you know what the truth is?
Amityville was everything you ever heard about and then some. It was some of this and some of that and a lot of demonic stuff thrown in, and even motifs that seemed to have been more or less stolen from the movie Exorcist, like floating up in the air off the bed. And so it just looked phony from the get-go.
What is your reaction to people who say, look, the Lutz family made up this entire tale to make money. This was something that they decided to do, to stage, so that they could sell a book and, wow, even make a movie?
Well, we could have done it better. We should have done it better if that was the plan.
All told, the Amityville Horror book and movie netted the Lutzes about $300,000, they say. Not bad, but certainly not the multi-millions those with the rights to the book, movie, and all the sequels raked in. And the Lutzes gave up a lot along the way. Their home, their business, even their children were taunted, they say, when their story became known.
Do you wish you'd never bought the house at 112 Ocean Avenue?
There were times. And I've often wondered what my life would have been like. What if I'd made this decision instead of that?
So what are we to believe after nearly 3 decades? The Amityville horror has become a legend, compelling but elusive. We decided to make one more phone call to the man who was there at the very beginning.
Ronnie DeFeo was still serving those 6 life sentences in an upstate New York prison. In phone calls, he told Primetime that his parents were abusive and that on the night of the murders, he was drunk and high on heroin. As for those ghosts, he claims he lied and there were no voices commanding him to kill. There are tangible reminders of what happened in Amityville. A single gravestone with the names of Ronnie DeFeo's victims. The house on Ocean Avenue. No one who's lived here since the Lutzes has reported anything strange. And all those photographs inside the house. But no one has an explanation for this picture. Is it really an eerie-looking little boy? And if not, what is it?
What would you say to people who might not believe?
It's their right. I can't tell them what to think, what to believe. I can just say what I experienced.
The Amityville horror touched off a national fascination with haunted houses. In some places, they've been turned into huge attractions. Gallup polls show nearly 1/3 of all adults believe in ghosts. Nearly as many think you can talk to the dead. We'll have more on that later in our show. And if you'd like to talk to George Lutz about his former house in Amityville, you can chat with him online live tomorrow. And for details, go to abcnews.com.